The AP exam really likes questions like this. They really like these types of questions that require you to actually know what a derivative is, not just to be able to follow a set of rules to calculate it, but to actually know what it is. Let's take a look at this question. We're given a graph of f of x and asked to sketch f prime of x and f double prime of x, but we're not told what the function is. So it's not like I can find its derivative by hand and then graph that function. So what I'm looking for on this graph are features that I can use to help myself sketch the derivative. The first thing you can do is if you can make a guess about what this function might be before you start, then you should. If I were just to make a guess here, this looks quadratic, so I know it's probably something along the lines of y equals x squared, but it's negative because it's flipped over, right? So if that's, something like my function, then y prime is going to be along the lines of a straight line, right? And then y double prime should just be a constant. I don't know what exactly those values are, but I've got here, okay, I should have a negatively sloped straight line for my first derivative, and then a flat, horizontal, something negative line for the second derivative. That's if you can make a guess. If you can't, don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. So let's start thinking here about what my first derivative should look like. If I'm looking at this graph, the thing that sticks out to me is, okay, right here, it looks like at about the coordinate x equals 1, my slope goes to 0. I know this first derivative is telling me a slope, and here my slope is decreasing, decreasing until it flattens out to be 0. So whatever my shape is over here, whenever x equals 1, I should have my first derivative equal to 0. And then based on that assumption that I made about the function, I can say, okay, it was a negatively sloping line that needs to cross through that point. I'm going to say that's a sketch of f prime of x. And then for the second derivative, I'm not even going to look at the original function anymore. I'm just going to look at my sketch for the derivative. And I can say, okay, that derivative has, or the derivative of the derivative, that slope should be constant and it should be negative. So I don't know where I am down here, but I'm just going to put a line there and call that f double prime of x. And you can see that I'm not concerned about the details. I don't know where this crosses, I don't know where this crosses, and the AP test wouldn't expect you to know either. What the AP test would probably be looking for is, you knew this point for sure, and so you should know that point for sure. And then the rest of it, if you're just kind of guessing, that's okay. And you know that this should be negative, so as long as it's somewhere on that axis, then that's okay.